So the Pope just declared war on ChatGPT, and this is the leader of 1.4 billion Catholics. He published a 42,000 word document about AI. Then he invited the co-founder of Anthropic to stand next to him at the Vatican. Now, here's like the entire full story in 10 minutes. Who is the Pope and why you should care, right? What is the 42,000 word document that says in the 5-minute version? Why Anthropic co-founder was standing next to him, and what this actually means if you run a business. So why a Pope's opinion on AI actually matters, just so that you actually understand some context. There were about 1.4 billion Catholics that just received this document. You know, I was like raised Filipino, so it's like the entire Philippines basically is like Catholic. And the more people then live in the entire Western Hemisphere, when the Pope speaks, governments listen, companies pivot, and cultures shift. And this Pope is different because he's American. He studied math. He understands how AI works at a technical level. This isn't someone, you know, just like guessing, right? He's consulted scientists, engineers, and political leaders before even writing a single word. Now, Pope Leo told the College of Cardinals he would address the risks AI poses to human dignity, justice, and labor. Then he spent a year consulting experts. Then he wrote a 42,000 word document. Now, the document by the numbers is 42,000 words, 5 chapters, 135 years since the last time a Pope wrote this about tech, and it was an audience for 1.4 billion Catholics. Now, if you go ahead and realize what this is, artificial intelligence already touches many areas of our lives and affects decisions that shape human coexistence. It also dramatically changing how war is waged. Okay, so with all the things that are kind of going on in the Middle East, you know, this is kind of like pretty much apparent. So what he's essentially saying is disarm AI before it dominates humanity. Disarming AI means freeing it from the mentality of armed competition. The pursuit of greater profits cannot justify choices that systematically sacrifice jobs, and no algorithm can make war morally acceptable. No computational system can create a heart that gives itself or a consciousness that discerns good from evil. So here are the 5 things he's calling for right now. Number 1, government must regulate AI companies. Private companies shouldn't control the future of humanity. Governments need to step in now. Demand number 2, protect workers whose jobs AI replaces. Retraining, safety nets. You can't automate people into poverty and call it progress. So what's going to happen? You know, like a lot of people are like, oh, you know, it's like AI is going to make people more productive. And AI is going to go ahead and, you know, create more jobs than people. But what happens if like most of humanity loses their job? It's not like up and automatically they find something else. There will be a period of like suffering. There'll be a period of like transition. There'll be a period of almost like anger and resentment. And what's going to happen when that happens, right? Demand number 3, teach kids to think critically about AI. Schools must change. Students need to understand AI, not just blindly. Now, have you ever like chatted in Chat or Claude and it messes up, and then you call it out and you're like, yo, bro, you messed up. And he's like, oh yeah, you're right. Now that's like on a minuscule level. What happens when like a kid, 8 years old, 10 years old, 12 years old, looks at AI and everything that they say, it's like straight up truth because they've never actually like learned how to critically think. You know, this is kind of like the thing that I'm like super afraid of with my future children is it's like, will they actually know how to critically think? This is like why part of me wants to just go ahead and raise my future kids like on some farm somewhere with like no internet access. But it gives them the ability to go out and think. What happens is kids don't know how to think critically. They just think, oh, AI gave me answers. And then now they're losing their critical thinking muscle from actually developing. And demand number 4, protect children from AI harm online. AI generated violent and fake content targeting kids. This stops, full stop. And then demand number 5, humans, not AI, must control weapons. No exceptions. So, the co-founder of the company that just beat ChatGPT, Claude, Anthropic, his business spending stood next to the Pope. This isn't a photo op. The photo personally thanked Ola and invited the entire AI industry into an ongoing dialogue with the Vatican. So Anthropic sent their co-founder and their resident philosopher. So the questions raised by AI are bigger than the AI research community, not just in the implications, but in their nature. The business angles: 1 week after this, data showed Claude overtook ChatGPT in business spending for the first time. Doing the right thing publicly is now a competitive advantage for Claude. So the head of an AI company told the Pope they can't be trusted to do this alone. AI companies operate inside a set of incentives and constraints that can sometimes conflict with doing the right thing. We need moral voices that incentives cannot bend. And, in plain English, money makes AI companies do things they shouldn't. We need someone outside the financial incentives to hold us accountable. He flew to the Vatican to say that out loud. Now, he compared AI to the Tower of Babel. So this is like crazy, because it's like, if you think about it in biblical terms, it's like humans had so much prosperity that they're like, oh, let me go out and see if I could touch God, if I could build something that could reach the heavens. And because of that, what happens is as you build, essentially what happened is God shut you down and cut you off. And the two biblical stories, the two paths for AI, is you don't need to be religious for this to make sense. So it's like the Babel path, what we're really heading to, building power without accountability. As we grow faster and faster and faster, what would be our version where we get like Tower of Babel and cut? Is it going to be a big recession? Is it going to be a big job layoffs? Is it because it's going to be a bunch of strike? Is it going to be lots of violence? There's going to be something that ends up happening. Another one is the Jerusalem path, where we could go, building together with a shared purpose. The Pope says this is good AI, technology where every voice is heard, serving everyone, not just the powerful few. Now, the primary choice is not between yes or no technology, but rather between constructing Babel or rebuilding Jerusalem. Okay? Now, this exact thing happened 135 years ago. Okay? Problem: factories replaced farm workers. Millions lost their jobs. The result: wealth went into factory owners. Workers got nothing. Response: Pope Leo wrote Referendum Navarrum, defended workers, became the foundation of modern worker rights. Exact same things happening now. Wealth going to AI companies. Pope Leo writes the Magnifica Humanitatis. My Latin is horrible. Defending human dignity, same battle, different century. Now, so what does the Pope's letter actually mean for your business? If you're a business owner, if you're an entrepreneur, if you make money, if your career might be dependent on this, is more than you actually think. AI regulation is coming, so build for it now. AI is not just a tool, is no longer acceptable. The Pope said AI reflects the worldview of its designers. Which AI you use and how you use it, it's now a value statement. Your clients will start asking. And then ethics is becoming a competitive advantage. Your human judgment is your competitive advantage. So in morals, in your characteristics, how you actually treat people, this is going to become way more important. And the Pope said AI can't replace humans. People use Claude to summarize the 42,000 word document. Today, the Pope calls for AI to be controlled. Anthropic invited to help. Claude beats ChatGPT the same week. Okay? Today is just the beginning, the start of a long collaboration between those of us who are building AI and those who can see what we from the inside cannot see. The bottom line is the Pope was clear. It reflects the values of the people who build it. So what are your values? What do you stand for? Right now, those values need outside voices. He just became one. Anthropic showed up, said no to military, went to the Vatican, beat ChatGPT in business spending, doing the right thing is working. And for you, your human judgment, relationship, and ethics are not replaceable. That's your edge. Use AI to amplify, not to replace it, because